A lot of people are reviewing the work of the college football playoff committee. Let me just jump right into it and ask you about the question that a caller was just talking about and scheduling. And I'm wondering if that is what did come into play for SMU getting in after losing to Clemson in the ACC championship game, and Alabama, part of the Final 12 in the second to last iteration of the bracket, being knocked out.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's always strength of schedule is always something that we look at throughout our rankings. For every week we are together and we get together and comparing teams, we're constantly looking at where their strength of schedule is compared to other teams. It's an important, very important metric that we use, but it's not the only thing we use. I mean, if strength of schedule was the only thing we use, just line up the top 12 strength of schedule teams and let them play in the playoffs. The commissioners have asked that all of the committee, the 13 of us that have a vote on the committee, look at games, look at data, see the outcome of games, where they played, how were they played, in those kind of things, to come up with a decision of the group to rank the top 25. It's not easy. Strength of schedule is not the only thing. Some teams have weaker strength of schedules because they schedule weak teams in the non-conference. And some, by the luck of the draw, play a conference schedule, whether it's in the SEC, the Big Ten, or any conference, that doesn't have strong teams in that particular year. The teams that they're playing are not doing as well. And so that also diminishes strength of schedule. And some of that is self-inflicted, and some of it is just the way the conference schedule worked out that particular year.
So why did SMU make it?
Well, the committee felt that SMU had, in their conference games, they went undefeated. Their only loss at the time was by 3 to BYU. And then they played Clemson down to literally the last second in that field goal by Clemson's kicker to put them into the playoffs as a conference champion. And so with that resume, losing 2 games by a total of 6 points, compared to Alabama's also has a great resume. They played great teams. They won some of those games. I think they only lost 1. But they also lost to some unranked opponents in their schedule. And so as we debated and discussed it, believe me, it wasn't as easy as I'm explaining it in a minute or two. There was a lot of discussion in the room about it, a lot of talk about different things that people thought about as it related to the strengths of the teams, the weaknesses of the teams. And in this particular case, when the discussion and debate was finally over and we voted, SMU came out ahead of Alabama.
Do you think SMU's second half comeback, making that a tight game, was like the last piece of a resume that put them over the top? Do you think?
Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's really the total game, Rich. I mean, ultimately, some teams start off strong, some teams, come back strong. Sometimes the games are back and forth throughout the game. What we were impressed with was, in the end, SMU played a very tight game. In the end, they found a way, after being down, to come back. Their defense stood up in the second half. Their offense was more productive. And so, yeah, I mean, it did have an effect in the totality of the game. And ultimately, the results were that Clemson won. But it was a very, very tight game in the end.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.